The celestial void is a sacred place that very few ponies are ever fortunate enough to visit. Only Princess Celestia and Princess Luna are known to frequent this place, with the two exceptions being Princess Cadance and Princess Twilight at the time of their Alicorn ascension. Therefore, when Cadance suddenly found herself back here without a word's warning, she knew that she had been called for a reason. Cadance wandered along the glowing ethereal pathway until she heard voices arguing in the distance. As she came closer, she identified the voices as Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. Fearing there was trouble, Cadance rushed towards them.
Princesses, is something wrong? Why have I been called here?
She asked, momentarily out of breath.
Good, you're here. Please tell this pathetic cakeaholic moron how relationships are supposed to work.
Luna said, sitting back on the ground and crossing her hooves while making pointed glares at Celestia.
There's no need for name-calling, Luna. I can't help it if you're wrong and I have to point that out.
Celestia said, delicately magicking her fork into a slice of cake hovering nearby before taking a dainty bite.
What's going on?
Well, my dear Cadance, we all know that Hearts and Hooves Day is a widely celebrated occasion in Equestria.
And since my sister and I are immortal and have yet to find love, we spend our holiday a little differently than other ponies. Princess NSA here likes to stalk her subjects and record their daily lives for her personal enjoyment.
Don't pretend you don't do it too. I've seen you poking around in ponies' dreams like a perv-
All right. I get it. You both spy on your subjects, and that's majorly creepy. But what does that have to do with Hearts and Hooves Day?
Celestia and Luna shot each other a glance, and then returned their attention to Cadance.
Well, when we monitor ponies, for their own safety of course, we can see things from another perspective and can pinpoint certain attractions before they become legitimized. Of course, we don't agree on certain pairings and discuss them in further detail.
We ship the ponies and fight about which pairings are OTP.
Princess Luna interjected, simplifying Celestia's explanation. Cadance stood dumbfounded for a moment, gauging whether or not the princesses were joking. The prolonged silence confirmed that they were not.
Okay, so then why am I here?
Cadance asked, feeling a little uncomfortable about the subject.
To settle the argument and prove once and for all who is OTP, of course.
Princess Celestia said, eating another bite of cake.
You're the Princess of Love. We assumed you would know better on these matters.
All right, well, if I can be of help, then I'll certainly try.
Cadance said with a nervous smile, sitting across from the immortal sisters.
Wonderful. Let's start on something easy, shall we?
Celestia ignited her horn with magic, and moments later, dozens of little screens flickered to life, showing clips of a certain young stallion with a green apple cutie mark.
Are you familiar with Big Macintosh?
Princess Celestia asked. Cadance's eyes widened at the sight of the scenes that played before her. She hesitated before answering.
Yes, actually I am. I was introduced by Applejack when I visited Twilight in Ponyville.
Great. Now we all know he has obvious chemistry with Miss Cheerilee, and there is plenty of evidence to support that ship. Just watch.
Princess Luna said, indicating a specific screen that was displaying a scene of Big Mac and Miss Cheerilee gazing lovingly into each other's eyes.
Oh, of course you would pull that scene. You and I both know they were under a love poison.
Celestia said in exasperation.
All right, then how about this part at the end of the day, huh? The Cutie Mark Crusaders broke the curse, and they still walked off into the sunset together.
That doesn't prove anything.
All right, how about this one? When Big Mac sang with the Ponytones and Miss Cheerilee faints in his presence. So obviously overcome by his powerful vocals and striking smile.
You don't know that's why she fainted. She could have felt ill.
Does that dreamy look in her eye imply illness?
What's wrong with Big Mac falling for Miss Cheerilee?
Cadance asked nervously.
Oh, nothing is wrong with it, but she simply isn't the match for him. Might I remind you that a little bit later that year, he was introduced to a certain marble pie, and was so enamored that he couldn't speak a word. His blushing did all of the talking for him.
Princess Celestia said, showing on one of the screens the moment Pinkie Pie and Applejack's families met.
They could be related! That's potentially disgusting!
Princess Luna said in distaste.
Oh, please. That was just a ploy Pinkie used to create comical misadventures with the apples. Besides, if they were related, did you see how far back in their lineage that scroll indicated? I'm sure every pony is related if you look back that far.
So which is it, Cadance? Who is the better ship?
Princess Cadance furrowed her brow for a moment and watched the separate scenes play out with each pairing.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Big Macintosh already has a mare friend. I think her name is Sugarbelle.
Princess Cadance pointed out.
Oh, our little debates hardly ever have anything to do with actual relationships, Cadance. My sister and I have learned over the years that ponies will cycle through many romances before they finally settle down.
You should have seen who Celestia shipped you with before Shining Armor popped the question.
Wait, what?
Despite the obvious adorable factor in his relationship with Sugarbelle, they simply don't have the right level of compatibility. Not to mention the fact that I find it slightly disturbing that he would fall for a carbon copy of his mother. Just look at those similar designs.
Celestia said, cycling through the images on the screen with her magic.
Besides, if you want to argue sweet and demure mares, Marble Pie is clearly an obvious choice.
Miss Cheerilee can be just as sweet and demure as the next pony. Have you seen what she has to deal with? The strain she suffers without a word of complaint must count for something. She would need a stallion who would present no additional stressors in her life. And clearly, Big Mac has that potential.
All right. Maybe we can't come to an agreement about Big Mac for now. Perhaps Cadance can help us clear up another dilemma.
Celestia said, allowing the images on the screen to settle on a new focus. Discord.
How did he end up in this discussion?
Princess Luna asked.
We were on the topic of sweet and demure mares, and I believe that describes Fluttershy to a T. After a thorough analysis of her potential ships, I think Discord would make an appropriate match.
Celestia admitted.
Hold on. You think Fluttershy and Discord should be shipped?
Cadance asked in surprise.
She is the only pony he speaks of, and clearly the only one he favors.
Celestia said, pointing to the screen that depicted Discord's heroic intentions of saving Fluttershy from the changelings.
But I thought Discord would have worked better with...
With who?
With you, sister. With you.
Me?
There is plenty of evidence to support it. Look at this scene where Twilight defeated Tirek and acquired her new castle. Discord magics up a bouquet just for you, sister.
Luna said, Cadance nodding.
Oh, that's absurd. He was only trying to apologize for double-crossing me, us, when he sided with Tirek.
And you are the only pony other than Princess Luna who has immortality like he does. You knew him in the past, and a beautiful relationship could have formed.
Relationship? I helped Luna defeat Discord. If I were so perfect for him, why would I banish him into stone? Besides, I could never love someone who deals with that much chaos on a daily basis. My life is scheduled and planned to the minute.
Cadance has a point, sister. He is your opposite. And you know what they say. Opposites attract.
Why not you, Luna? What makes you any less right for him?
He doesn't bother me like he does you. When he tries anything, I merely walk away. He's grown tired of attempting to bother me. Wait, does that mean he gets under your skin? Will he not leave you be, dear sister? And that has spurned some feelings between you two?
Of course not. Clearly, you two will stop at nothing to convince yourselves otherwise, so we will have to move on.
Celestia said, igniting her horn again to change the images before them.
Tia and Discord sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S. Ow!
Princess Luna cried when Celestia interrupted her taunt by throwing her empty cake plate at the unsuspecting mare.
Aha! This I'm sure we can all agree on. Octavia
And Vinyl Scratch.
I thought her name was DJ Pone 3.
Cadance said in confusion.
Not according to the fans.
Celestia said with a wink.
The fans?
Cadance asked, but was ignored.
Oh, but they're not as obvious as Lyra Bon.
Princess Luna pointed out.
If only you could see the dreams those two have.
We already see. Here, I believe they were even together in the massive dream you orchestrated to work out your own demons.
Celestia said, indicating the two ponies, Lyra and Bon Bon, who appeared to be fused at the middle. They smiled and awkwardly hugged each other on the little screen.
Oh, real mature, Celestia. Let's air all my shortcomings while hiding behind your own.
Lyra and Bon Bon are so adorable together.
Cadance said, watching a different scene of the pair of them, giggling and hugging at Cranky's wedding.
My shortcomings? What are you talking about?
Don't give me that. Just because you don't monitor yourself doesn't mean you don't make mistakes, sister. You failed to defeat Chrysalis, didn't you? Or even see through her deceit when she masqueraded as Cadance?
It was so cold down in those caves.
Cadance said, getting a far-off and haunting look in her eyes as she spoke.
I was too busy running a kingdom and helping orchestrate a wedding. I put my faith completely in Shining Armor, and hoped if something were amiss, he could tell me about it. And where exactly were you when Equestria was threatened?
Asleep! Because no pony bothered to invite me to the wedding. I made the real Cadance's reception for the last 2 minutes without so much as a sorry.
Let's talk about some pony else. Twilight.
Cadance said, scrambling for ideas.
I think she has a crush on one of my guards, a certain Flash Sentry.
Cadance ignited her horn and changed the images on the screen herself this time, delighted to learn that they changed at her will. The screens paused on images of the pair's blushing cheeks and the awkward smiles both in the Crystal Empire and the train station in Ponyville.
If she's going to be with any Flash Sentry, it'll be the one in the human world.
Princess Celestia said, changing the screens again to show Twilight with another incarnation of Flash.
Well, if we're allowed to use Equestria Girl characters, then my vote goes for Sunlight.
Luna said, pointing a hoof at the human form of Sunset Shimmer with human Twilight.
While I must agree they have chemistry, you do have to bear in mind that Cadance here was talking about Pony Twilight. I believe human Twilight is a better match for my old student Sunset Shimmer. Isn't that right?
Celestia and Luna looked over at Princess Cadance to see a terrified and confused look on her face. She was staring at the human incarnation of herself displayed on one of the screens.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, we might have taken things a bit far. Let's stick with ponies, shall we?
Celestia said, clearing the screens immediately.
What? But I was...
Cadance stammered, still confused and a little disturbed by what she had just been shown.
Let's just cut to the chase. We didn't call Cadance here for Big Mac, Discord, or Twilight.
Oh, very true, my sister. There are much more important pairings, OTP pairings to discuss.
The screens transitioned again to show Twilight's best friends in an array of different scenarios. The screens multiplied and flooded the celestial void. Though each friend was represented, there was one pony in particular that appeared more than any other. Rainbow Dash.
Now, Cadance, be a dear and help me explain to my foolish sister why Apple Dash is the most superior of ships and therefore OTP.
It's absolute nonsense. Clearly my sister is tired and overworked. She can't even see that Flutterdash is the most superior ship.
Applejack and Rainbow Dash are hardworking tomboy stereotypes. Clearly the most obvious lesbian mares of the group. They balance each other out so well too. Dash's enthusiasm and Applejack's sensibilities. There would be no stopping them.
Stopping them? They're both far too stubborn to get along with each other for long. Both would want to claim dominance, and neither would back down. It would be a constant power struggle, and neither of their egos would allow it. Flutterdash, on the other hoof, is exactly the right combination of opposites and similarities combined into a loving relationship.
Are you sure Fluttershy could handle Rainbow's, energy?
That's the best part. They're a complement to each other, unlike Appledash.
Luna said, to which Celestia gave a dark glare.
They've been friends the longest, see? Look at how noble little Filly Dash is to defend Fluttershy's honor by racing her bullies, which ultimately leads to herself and all her friends getting their cutie marks. Chemistry like that cannot be beat. Not to mention Dash's unwillingness to give up on Fluttershy and help her to conquer her fears.
Then how do you explain this moment, Fluttershy's fear of dragons caused nothing but delays when I tasked Twilight and her friends to wake the sleeping monster causing the dreadful dark clouds over Equestria. No one was more vocally upset than Rainbow Dash, who scolds Twilight for bringing Fluttershy along on more than one occasion. There are countless other examples of Dash's impatience with Fluttershy's methods. Take your pick, sister. Besides, are you insinuating that Rainbow Dash should want to be with a mare who hates one of her favorite holidays, Nightmare Night?
So, are we saying that Rainbow Dash is going to end up with a mare? Because I think Soren might be another ideal match for—
No!
Both princesses screamed in protest.
That is a horrible ship. The only reason Rainbow would be with Soren was because he is the only sane stallion she's ever been seen with.
Not to mention he is incompetent. If he continues to let Spitfire walk all over him, he couldn't stand up for himself, let alone Rainbow Dash. He would be the mare in the relationship, if anything.
Which defeats the point of her being in a relationship with a stallion at all, really. If she were going to date a Wonderbolt, she has far more chemistry with Spitfire.
Finally, something we can agree on.
All right, just asking.
Cadance said, putting up her hooves in defense.
I guess if I had to choose some pony for Rainbow Dash, I'd have to say Pinkie Pie would be the ideal mare friend.
Pinkie Pie?
The two sisters said in surprise.
With any other pony, Pinkie's antics would drive them a little insane. But Rainbow and Pinkie have such a strong bond. Have you seen those two pranking together? There was a reason the map called them as the first missionaries of friendship to Griffinstone. And if memory serves, I believe Pinkie Pie herself told me that she calls her Dashy rather than Rainbow Dash, which, in my opinion, is far too feminine and childish for Rainbow to approve. Only a very special mare could get away with calling her Dashy.
Princess Celestia, having heard that tidbit of information, summoned up scenes where other ponies such as Twilight and Rarity called Rainbow Dash by the name Dashy. She didn't say a word and let the screens speak for themselves.
Well, Pinkie started it. And look at this scene here. Pinkie is beside herself with distress when Rainbow left for the academy. She just wasn't herself until they visited her in Cloudsdale.
And what of Cheese Sandwich? They're a partying duo with a lot of potential.
Or even Party Favor. He seems to be another male Pinkie Pie ripoff.
Well, in both of those cases, it would be like dating yourself. And I don't think any pony wants to date someone exactly like themselves. Not to mention the fact that Pinkie Pie isn't the only pony with erratic behavior. Rainbow Dash has her fair share of insanity moments. Only Pinkie Pie, who has felt these mood swings and deals with them on a daily basis, could really understand Rainbow and give her the emotional support she needs.
Alright, I see your point. But Rainbow is not really of my OTP concern.
Princess Luna said nonchalantly.
Oh? Who is your OTP?
Rary Jack.
Luna said, igniting her horn and displaying Rarity and Applejack scenes that played out for each of the princesses to watch.
Rary Jack is love. Rary Jack is life.
Well, there are a number of ponies, stallions mostly, who would be better suited for Rary.
Did you not hear the Princess of the Night? I said Rary Jack is life!
Princess Luna shouted, using her Counterlot voice to get the message across.
But Won't you explain?
There's no use, Cadance. You can't win this one.
Celestia said, watching her sister and shaking her head. Soon after, Luna was hugging one of the screens, depicting an accidental nose nuzzle between the mares.
They're just so adorable and so compatible. They already bigger like lovers. It's meant to be!
I guess that means I wasn't all that helpful to you two after all.
Cadance said, lowering her ears.
Don't be silly, my dear. You made some great arguments, even almost convinced me a few times. Next year, perhaps, we could tackle some more difficult ponies, such as Trixie or Starlight Glimmer.
What do you mean? I think they're perfect for each other.
Cadance said, laughing. Celestia joined in, smiling proudly.
I knew inviting you would make this a little more entertaining.
Celestia said with a wink.
Entertaining? I thought you would have been upset with me for not agreeing with you.
Oh, I change my OTP all the time, Cadance. This is just a little something we alicorns do to pass the time. I do believe Princess Luna takes it a bit more seriously, though.
Celestia and Cadance observed from afar a deranged-looking Luna, with hoof-made dolls fashioned to resemble Rarity and Applejack. She was making them kiss.
Come, we should probably calm Luna down before she hurts some pony. Oh, and Cadance, tell me, who would you see as a superior ship for Spike?
Spike? You mean the baby dragon? Isn't he going to be young for a long time? I don't think he should be shipped with anyone.
Celestia smiled warmly in approval.
Good, I just had to be sure. Luna, those are not voodoo dolls. Stop trying to make Rarajack happen.
Never!
Luna cried, accompanied with the frighteningly crazy-sounding laughter.